Let's talk about what the airlines are up to, the international airlines, and how they're flying to Israel. Are they considering canceling their flights to the Holy Land, or are they going to hold strong against the jihad and the terrorism? Here's a report from ILTV.
It's been 4 days since a ballistic missile launched by the Islamic regime-backed Houthis in Yemen fell inside the Ben Gurion airport grounds. Now airlines are extending their suspension of their Tel Aviv routes, leaving Israelis abroad stranded and limiting outgoing travelers as well. Which airlines should you be staying away from? ILTV's Devil Klein breaks it down.
Air travel in and out of Israel is once again becoming a difficult task, with prominent European and global carriers halting flights in and out of Tel Aviv. What do these cancellations mean for Israeli tourism this summer? And what about Israelis who planned a summer abroad? The news is not great. British Airways, the latest carrier to extend its flight suspension from London, announced that the suspension will last until June 14th. Other European carriers announced a suspension until May 11th, including the Lufthansa group of Swiss Air, Austrian Airlines, and Brussels Airlines, as well as Air Baltic, Irish low-cost carrier Ryanair, and LOT Polish Airlines. In addition, Air France have canceled flight services until May 13th, while Air Europa, the Spanish low-cost airline, have halted flights to Israel through May 7th. Both Air India and Iberia have paused their Israel services through May 8th. But what about flights to the U.S.? U.S. airline Delta extended the suspension of its daily nonstop service to Tel Aviv from New York's JFK Airport until May 19th, while United Airlines said it was halting flights until May 18th.
Okay, so all these airlines, including Delta and United, are canceling or halting flights to Israel. And there's one that I heard especially, which kind of rang in my ear, and that was Lufthansa, the German airline. If I'm Lufthansa, right, what I'm doing is no matter what, I am flying to Israel. No matter what, I'm going to make sure that today's Nazis, the jihadists and the bullies, won't stop me from flying to Israel. Lufthansa should be like, no matter what, we are going to Jerusalem. Okay, no matter what. After what happened in the Holocaust, we are flying to Jerusalem. We're not going to let anybody bully us, and that's going to be our little, like, heroic moment. It's the little moment that we don't succumb to the jihadism. It's our little moment where we're like, yeah, we fight back. We make sure that we are going to Jerusalem, to Tel Aviv. That's what we're going to do as Lufthansa. It's our little hero's moment. Moreover, the rest of the flight companies, right? If I'm a CEO of United or Delta, right? I have in my office a big picture of my United or Delta airplane flying over Jerusalem. And I'm the proudest of all of my lines, of all of my directed traffic around the world, all of my various destinations. I'm so proud that I could bring to the Holy Land passengers from all over the world, certainly from Germany. I'm going to make a little amends of what happened in the Holocaust. I'm going to make sure that Germans that want to fly to Tel Aviv, they're going to make it there. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to be like heroic. I'm going to be like, this is it. This is why my airline was born. This is the holiest line that I have. This is my little miser, my little tithe. My tithe to God is that I make sure that Lufthansa lands in Tel Aviv. That's my little tithe. That's the good thing that I do at this world. The good thing that I do. And I remember the Holocaust and I say, never again. And here's from my side, never again. And I remember the God of Israel. And I say, I want to bring people to the Holy Land. And I'm not going to succumb to the jihadists, just like Hitler sat down with Haj Amin al-Husseini. I'm not going to be part of that. I'm not going to sit down with the jihadis. I'm not going to let them control my air traffic to the Holy Land, to Israel. I'm not going to let the Jewish people be bullied. I'm not going to be part of it. I'm going to be one of the Chasidei Umot Olam, one of the righteous and the Gentiles. Exactly at this time when Israel needs me, I'm going to make sure to fly to that Holy Land. And it just angers me so much when I see, a Lufthansa or United or a Delta just quitting on coming to this land, just succumbing to the jihad, And of course, couching it in, reasonability, and we don't want to endanger anybody and all that kind of stuff. But really, you're allowing yourself to subtly boycott the land of Israel, the Holy Land, and the Jewish people and the state of Israel. You are part of that jihad when you do that. Maybe you're just afraid, right? And I can understand that, because terrorism wants people to be afraid. What is terrorism? I have a definition for terrorism. Terrorism is the broadcasting of fear. And they're good at that. They have a great brand that they're teaching the world, which is to be afraid to go to Israel, be afraid to touch Israel. They bully people. They're always scaring them with their scare tactics. But if I have an airline like Lufthansa, I do everything in my power to not be afraid and not to succumb to the jihadist ideology, and to just be like, never again. We're not going to do that. We're not going to cut the Jewish people out. We're not going to cut the land of Israel out. And also, we're not going to cut out the tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of pro-Israel Germans that want to come to the land of Israel. I'm happy for El Al, right? I think El Al should be like flying every line that it could, just even once a week, fly from Germany. I don't know if it's economic or not. Here's somebody writing. Samantha says, I flew Lufthansa back to the U.S. from Tel Aviv once and vowed never to fly them again. Worst flight ever. I don't know about that. I would think that they would do, a good job over there in the German airlines, and they should be loved and respected. But guys, show some guts at this moment. Show some historical knowledge, historical justice. This is your moment to shine. Instead, you are once again falling. I want to give you a little story about that. One time, Bill Gates, the head of Microsoft, came to Israel, and he's like, yeah, I'm just hanging out in Tel Aviv. I don't have time to go to Jerusalem. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, how much do you not have a sense of historical truth? Map making in the ancient world was based on drawing Jerusalem. Everybody wants to go to Jerusalem. It's Yerushalayim, the holy city, Jerusalem. And like, you don't have time. I don't got time. I'm like the head of Microsoft. I'm too busy. I don't have time to go to Jerusalem. I don't have the time for that. It's like, don't you have any sense of historical truth? And it's the same thing with these airlines. Like, don't you sense that this is your great moment not to succumb to the bullies? Don't you sense it? If I'm the head of an airline, I have a big picture and right behind me. And I'm like, the proudest thing that we do is that we bring people on pilgrimage. The ancient pilgrimage coming alive again in our time. What a miss. What a miss it is for those airlines. And I'm ashamed of them. I want one airline to hear what I'm saying today and be like, you know what, Yishai? You're right. We're flying. We're flying to the Holy Land, no matter what, through thick and thin. And I bet you there's pilots who are like, yeah, I used to fly for whatever, for, the RAF, and I'm not afraid of anything. And we didn't bomb the railroads to Auschwitz. Now we're going to fly to Israel just to fix that. Who's going to stand up and be courageous? And if you're not going to stand up and be courageous, then we have our El Al. We have our way. And El Al pilots are like, we're not stopping. I flew when there were rockets, and they like flew all the way north and then kind of took a left from the north of Israel just to avoid all kinds of rockets. And they were just like brave pilots. And I was a brave passenger. This is a moment to be great and not a moment to be fearful. That's the opportunity. That's the opportunity right now. And it's sad when people don't take that opportunity. This is an opportunity for heroism. We live in a time with an opportunity for heroism.